coconut.
Are we live?
Yeah, I believe that's what coconut is.
You're a coconut.
Put the lime in the coconut and shake it all up.
Okay, here. Let me just go ahead and switch my Twitch over to see what's going on.
I should probably turn off that fan, but I don't know if you can hear it.
The microphone can hear it.
I'm gonna turn off that fan.
Cool. Thanks, Boo.
Brittany, our overlay looks lovely.
Oh no. Oh god. Oh geez. I just started pressing buttons on.
Oh
no. The space hamster said, "Oh hooray!"
Oh, okay.
Hoorah!
Oh hooray!
Yay!
So
yeah, I know. I was pressing buttons and then now I can't see us, but you know that's fine.
Why is Mrs. Powell confused?
No, my face was confused. Oh. Hi, everybody! Oh my gosh, it's so good to be back. We haven't played a normal game of Venture Maidens in a month.
That's crazy.
Is, yeah, I mean, we were out last week recording our Tome of Foes episode, which is going to be super fun and it's super secret and we can't say anything about it right now, but that's going to be dropping on May 7th. So what is that, like Monday?
I think so. It's not that far.
Yeah, so that'll be awesome. But in the meantime, we're back now to our normal scheduling, so expect us to be back every other week as per usual. We needed to take some time to figure out some people are moving and, you know, life and stuff, but we're back now. Woohoo!
Yeah!
All right. Oh my gosh, I don't think I remember how to play.
It's all lost. We're done. We're doomed forever.
What am I doing?
I guarantee you I don't.
Right back into it. What is this dice for? I don't know.
What's up with the little pyramid? It's pointing.
Oh wow. All right. Well, let's jump in, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Venture Maidens podcast. I am your dungeon master, Celeste Conowitch.
I'm your elven warlock, Brittany Quintero, playing Arne Delethil.
And I'm Nassim, playing your human monk, Cyanor.
I'm Sage. I play Kara the Barbarian.
Wow, we just fell right back into that, you guys. That was great.
Yeah, stuck it, bingo square. No up on this intro.
Not today, bingo. Oh, speaking of bingo. Da-da-da. Dun-dun-dun. Da-da-da-da. Return of the Inspiration Queen.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Your Highness.
Yeah, I still have not used my point of inspiration, so I have this stellar crown. So if you folks don't remember, as per our bingo game, I have a point of inspiration to spend whenever I want, and I get to wear my crown until I spend it. But maybe we'll get a bingo tonight, and somebody else will get inspiration, and then I get to see what cool hats you guys make.
Oh yes. It shall be grand.
Yeah, well, all right. Let's go a month back in time and try to recap what happened last episode of Venture Maidens.
Oh boy, there were so many words and so many feelings.
Lots of feelings.
Arnadelle and Brittany, and
yes.
Saye, and so oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it started out with us getting back to the keep?
No, so the battle had just ended with the anathema.
Right.
At the start.
We headed back. We took stock of all of the people that died, and we offered to help pick up bodies and move them or help the injured. And
they're like, just go.
They're like, you've done enough.
Yeah, please leave.
We're like, I'm sorry.
And then
Rem was not looking very good. She's looking like she had the wind pretty much knocked out of her because she's still very weak and recovering. And yeah, and then we
got a friendly animal messenger once again. Because there was a cat with wings.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty sweet.
Trust him.
Oh, I trust
you. Yeah.
Which gave us a note. Yeah, to get us back to the keep.
Yep. It had the note in there from Kristoff saying, come home, and a scroll of teleportation.
Yes, which was handy dandy because that carriage was wrecked.
It was a broke ass carriage.
Broke ass kid. It's gonna take us a long ass time to walk back.
Yes, accurate. And then, so you got back.
God, and when we got back, it was nighttime. So Car went to go check on Gidget first to see if she was awake, but she was already asleep, having sweet little gnomish snores.
Little
And then
gnome dreams.
Little gnome dreams. Big dreams, little gnome coming to a theater.
Aw. Coming to a blockbuster near you.
So Kara just went to the bar and just went to have some drinks because it's been a long ass day.
Yep.
I lingered behind at the conference room to try and eavesdrop on any new information, which there really wasn't any. And then I got asked to meet Rana in the dungeons at midnight. So I took a mini nap before that happened.
Power nap.
Yeah. Arnadell pretty much just passed out.
Yeah, I went to Aaron's old room because I was real sad. I was sad. So sad. Just
a sad girl.
Sad girl.
Sad Girl 3000. Like, oh my god. Just
Also coming to a theater near you. Sad
You're
girl.
copywriting all these titles. These are awesome.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, Saye, what did you see?
Yeah, I went back to the dungeons at midnight and I saw basically everyone, the head honchos of Sisters of Sorrow in the dungeons with Rana and tiny heap of what remained of Azold. They were trying to bring her back from wherever her soul was trapped, basically in like the Fey, I don't know, wilds or the
Feywilds.
yeah, and so Rana did a little bell thing. We basically recreated the first time we were down in the dungeons with myself and Azold, and in the little chalk circles, he rang his bell to like call her to us, and she somehow found her way back. And we learned upon her arrival that she and Rem are lovers.
Yeah, there
And
was
we're finally reunited, and it was beautiful, and it was
Confirmed.
heartbreaking.
Confirmed. We Arnadell suspected.
Okay, confirmed for some, and
Kara
enlightened
was
to
fine,
others.
I mean.
And then that was the end of that night. I think I was like exhausted after that. I cried my heart out. I was happy she was back. It was okay. And then we woke up in the morning to I think Kara and I, we were just like, yeah, let's go fucking get some breakfast.
Get some
Yeah,
brunch.
and we went to the griddle sister.
Yeah, but before all three of us met up, Arnadell wandered around a bit to try and find other people.
Oh, she went to go talk to Valerius, right?
No, I started in the conference room.
That's right.
Because I was like, ugh, like I've got to talk to the higher ups about this. Oh man. And I waited and Kristoff came in and was like really sympathetic. Arnadell wasn't really expecting that from Kristoff. Because Kristoff's all business. And
He's a good dude.
He's a good dude. I have a low-key crush on Kristoff, to be honest.
I think I feel like all of us do.
I think all
Yeah,
of us
After
do.
we heard about his like
Rippling pectorals.
Yeah.
Yes.
He definitely was hot in After Hours, hot or not.
Always rated hot. Very well in
unanimous.
After Hours.
Unanimous.
Kara's even considered. She'd be like, I'd do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried.
Grab them horns. He doesn't have horns, but anyway, so Arnadell was just like, okay, I guess I'll go talk to Valerius because I guess she wanted some answers, and she went in and was gonna knock. She felt weird about knocking on his door. I don't remember how did I knock on his door? I think I did. And Valerius pops out, and we have our little chat. It was a good heart talk. She just needed some fucking validation, and she's kind of developing this like low-key mentorship relationship with Valerius, like she not quite a peer, but she looks up to him, like he kind of confirms and reaffirms the things that she's going through. So he helps her to feel less alone. And he's kind of stepping in as like the proxy for what Kelvin was to her.
Right.
That makes
So
sense.
that was hugely. That's my phone. That literally sounds like a fart.
Okay, I didn't hear it.
That was my phone. I promise. I have this up so I can keep an eye on it. Anyway, so after that, she goes and Valerius urges Arnadel, after kind of confirming that, what happened with Dundar and like why all this took place, like
And
at
the
what
bell.
point. What's that?
And the bell, yeah, that.
The bell. That was when the pact there was a signature basically on the page. So Arnadel felt, he's like, you need to go talk to your fucking friends. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Okay. And I did.
Yeah, you
And I was
joined
like,
us for brunch.
yeah.
And how'd that go?
It was
so
it
good.
was good. It was tough, but it ended all right. We both said our piece, and we got to
It ended with bacon and mimosas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
waffles. And I think something that was really important that got established, like, that concept of like when you break something, it grows back stronger. Like when you build muscle, you literally have micro tears and it grows back stronger. And so that's kind of like a metaphor of what took place at the brunch table amongst all of us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We got a long road ahead.
And do you remember the very last thing that happened?
A little boy, a redheaded boy.
Little
Francis or
boy.
Frank? Fred.
Or Frederick.
Frederick.
The Master Frederick.
Yes. Young Master Frederick.
He's like Vlad's apprentice now, and he
Very
told us
cute.
that the higher ups of the Sisters of Sorrow needed our attention.
Yeah. So after you were done with brunch, you were to go to the council chambers and have a chat.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Wow, we actually got through that. You all remembered pretty well. Okay. So that's where we're beginning this episode today. Y'all are winding down on brunch. You got that good like mimosa buzz going.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's the best kind,
Feels
where you're
solid.
just like all warm and you're like, cool, like I'm down to do some fun shit.
Yeah.
And
This is a new feeling for Saya.
yeah.
This
Oh, is
fun-
this?
Oh my god! Did you just like break your vow of not?
Yeah, but I mean, like, she maybe have tasted a little bit of alcohol before, but like anytime she's been tripping out, it was an accidental drugging. But she wanted to celebrate. Yeah, she wanted to celebrate that her friends were getting back together. So, and ending.
So you had like one mimosa.
She had
and you're
like one. Yeah, she had one mimosa. She was like, "Oh, wow, this is great."
Whoa. The world is so great. Yeah. So you got that little mimosa buzz going, and like it said on the note, whenever you all are finished with brunch, your presence is requested in the council chambers.
Yeah, Kara finishes like basically picks up her plate and dumps it and shovels the rest of the food into her mouth, licks the syrup off the plate.
Classy.
Just like,
And it just like rubs off her, like tries to rub all the crumbs off of her face and everything. It's like, all right, ready when you are.
All right. Any other business, or do y'all want to head over there?
So it's like, I want to race. I'll race one of you. Let's go. I feel like I could run 10 miles right now.
Kara chuckles quietly to herself. She's like, you go do that. You know,
Arnold's
you're
kind of
always
like,
in
you race
competition with
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah, Arnadel still feels like, even though like the piece has been made, she still feels like shit, like that weight hasn't been lifted yet. So she's just kind of like
process through that.
Yeah, she's got a lot to filter.
We're on the first step of our journey of healing. Yes. All right. So you make your way over to the council chambers, and when you arrive, the whole crew isn't there. It's just Kristoff and Rana are there, and they have a bunch of maps that are like laid out over the table and some scrolls, and they've clearly been chatting with each other for a bit. And Kristoff, well, I hope everything went well. And he looks at you, Arnadel.
She smiles, like clearly more like she smiles and nods, and just kind of like puts her head down, like awkwardly, like embarrassed, like, oh, shucks.
Mhm. And he makes like a kind of a small smile. It's an unfamiliar gesture on his face, but he like kind of smiles, and that just shows his tusks a little bit more. And you're like, wow, that's kind of
Oh,
terrifying.
he's so
Also,
cute.
kind of hot. Stop making Kristoff more hot. Tusks.
know.
I
Ew.
refuse. My NPCs can be as hot as I want them to be. They're in my brain.
I hope one of them tusks is like a gold one, like a gold
That would be
tusk,
What?
hilarious.
like the side of Kristoff that we didn't know about.
Oh yeah.
he used to wear a grill, but
But yeah, that was when he was a teenage orc.
Oh yeah, that's what I want to know about Kristoff. Anyway,
When he gets dressed up, he puts on gold caps, like to go out. Anyway, so it's Kristoff and Rana sitting there, and so Kristoff smiles and then indicates for you all to take a seat.
I
We
sit
do.
down.
So, Rana has informed me of the situation so far. This message you received from the sisters, this visitation. I've also spoken to Rem and Isolde. Understandably, they are not going to be joining us today. They have some catching up to do.
Saya's like squinting her eyes, big grin on her face, nodding her head up and down really slow.
Uh-huh. Catching up.
Kara
Catching-
just blurts out, "Did you guys know that they were a thing?"
Kristoff is like, yes.
I was very taken aback. I was not expecting that of Isolde. She didn't put off those vibes. But anyway, I'm happy. Oh yeah, so I'm happy for them. All right, please continue.
Rem is a good leader. She is able to separate business and pleasure, if it will, very well.
Kara, Kara thinks in her head, "That's why she never liked me."
Oh,
Aw.
poor Kara.
But it wasn't for any like neutral reason. Like she was taken, right?
I guess maybe. Who knows? I don't know
Yeah.
how long they've been together.
You
got
don't know.
Gidget. You got that hot pink Gidget.
Yeah. So, and then Kristoff begins to speak again. We have been going over the lines of this riddle, if you want to call it that, trying to figure out our next move, as it were. I think it is very clear that we need to get this done, and swiftly. If the sisters believe Arnadel needs this, then it is our job to carry it out. And yeah, and Rana also, nods his head. So we've been taking this in pieces, trying to break down exactly what these clues might mean. I think it's very clear traveling to the wilds. That clearly means the wilds beyond the Feywalk jungle, far in the southwest of the continent, which is an incredibly dangerous place, largely uncharted just due to its nature. But if we have to go there, we are going to need to be prepared. We're going to need to find a guide, do whatever we can to ensure the best chance of success to get you in there.
How is it possible to have a guide in the Feywilds? Like, isn't that the whole point? Is that it's random?
It is random, but the best we can hope for is somebody who knows the patterns of the Fey well. Someone who is at least loosely familiar with what might occur in there. Someone who will be able to give you a better chance of survival, quite honestly.
I look over at Rana.
Rana looks back at you. Oh no, I don't know anything about that place.
What, even though you like a Fey thing?
Oh, yes, well, I've spent the majority of my time defending the plains from incursions of the Fae that come specifically from the wilds. I stand on the other side of the wall, if it were.
Is that what
Perhaps-
those fancy bells are for?
Oh, my bells, yes. How much do you know about Carillans or what I do?
Oh, no, I mean, Arnie's got one of those bells. I don't know what they do, though.
Well, you saw what they did, Kara.
I mean,
He-
it was weird.
It was
Yeah,
weird and
There's
sad.
there's a lot of stuff going on. I was about to die.
I remember.
He looks really taken aback by this. I don't think you've mentioned Durana, the bell, at any point.
No.
So yep. So he
I haven't really had
swings-
much
She's just
interaction with
wearing
him.
it on her like necklace.
Yeah, I have the bell around my neck.
Okay. He swings like wide-eyed over. I'm sorry, you have one of what? May I
I
see
point
it?
to my necklace and I hand it to him.
Are you just wearing it openly? I thought you had it in your bag.
No, I might not have said it, but I
don't remember.
thought I said
Okay.
I would wear it around my neck like the scale necklace that I once had.
All right, my mistake. He's been too distracted.
Well, yeah,
to
I mean,
pay
if you've
You've been
attention.
checking out that Saye booty.
He's been looking at butt cape over here.
That's your nickname, Butt Cape.
Butt cape. The cape life doesn't choose. Never mind.
Oh, I
So
love
dumb.
it.
So you
Hashtag
take
butt
it off
cape.
and you hand it to him.
Mhm.
As he sees it, he goes very, very quiet and takes the bell. And the way he cups it and grabs it, he makes sure that the little piece in the center of it, he clasps it so it won't ring as he holds it, and just kind of turns it over once, turns it over twice, and just again looks up at you like, where did you? How did you?
Rana, we can talk about it later. I'll tell you about it later. But I'm assuming based off of you holding the dingle part, maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. I'll put it in my bag.
No, absolutely not. This is an incredibly powerful weapon, not something to be carried about lightly. I worked for years before I was even given my first bell. I went through trials, I went through tests. There are very few of these that exist in the world.
Ooh. Hearing this, Saya in her kind of buzzy drunkenness goes, "Damn, Arnadell."
I guess at this point, I would take the moment, because I don't think Kristoff knows about this either.
No.
I think I've only talked. So I'll take this opportunity to reiterate what Valerius and I talked about in the chambers, and how this was given to me by Dendar. And I look over at Saya and Kara, like, very directly when I'm explaining, like, the contract was struck when this manifested. And then I look at Rana and I'm like, that's how I got it.
Charlie awkwardly, uncomfortably off to the side.
Yeah. Rana
And
is just staring at you open-mouthed.
And I'm like, you guys, I wanted to save your lives. Like, this bitch took advantage of me caring about you. Not, we can look at it however we want, but that's my perspective on it.
Well, you have it. What a strange... This bell, its name is Zephyr. It is the bell of Zephyr.
That's the Arabic word for zero.
It is...
It also sounds like Zephyr, but like Zephyr.
Zephyr. It's it's hot urban Zephyr. Zephyr. This is the Bell of Banishing. Perhaps one of the most dangerous of the 7 in my possession. If the wrong thing hears this, you could destroy a fey creature, even something with just fey blood.
I look at Saya.
Exactly. So Car points out, "Oh, you mean like her? Oh, that would be very bad."
What?
How did Saya survive me ringing it to get rid of...
I'm sorry.
Saya
Saya,
is
you...
also confused. Like, what?
Yeah, you got the thing out of the box before, or no, after we was fighting the demon, and then you used that to unleash the water elemental from that harness.
Yeah, that amulet. Remember?
Yeah, the amulet. That's what it was.
After we battled Bartleby.
Yeah, and it said like only one of the blood may touch it or use it or what. I don't remember. It was a while ago.
A lot of those fey creatures weren't going after you when we were chasing your dad. I mean, that could be
that
because
too.
your dad commanded a bunch of fey creatures, but
Yeah, he was trying to talk to me. My parents were both human. I was just trying to get through that door. I don't know.
I
well,
don't know.
just in
Well-
case, I'm not going to ring it around you because
Well, in any case, that is a very good idea. The fact that Saya is still standing here means that probably her blood quotient isn't high enough to qualify under its effects. My magic works best when dealing directly with the Feywilds or a pure Fey creature. I cannot always influence, like, Eladrin, for example, since they are only part Fey. Sometimes my magic works on them, sometimes it doesn't. But it does make the Eladrin very wary of me and people like me.
Mm.
It is speculated that if we could unlock more arcane secrets, anything with any touch of Fey ancestry would fall under our control. But I must impress upon you that that bell is extremely dangerous and should not be rung under any circumstances, truly. Many of us die quite by accident when we ring it, banishing even pieces of ourselves in the process. For every 10 that try to become a Carillion, only one survives.
That's
I-
intense shit.
definitely don't feel comfortable
Ooh.
like being responsible for this bell. And she like hands it back to him and like, I think you might be better at safeguarding this.
I will not carry a bell that is not attuned to me. I cannot use that. I don't want it in my possession. If this was made for you, it is yours and your burden to bear.
I mean, she can like destroy it though, right? Like if I took a hammer to it, it's a tiny bell.
You
He shrugs.
might be able to, but there's some dark magic wrapped up in that. Any way you spin it, I would be afraid.
I
of the
nod
effects.
because I can see it, right? Like I'm just like, I look at Card. I'm like, I don't think you want to hit this with your axe.
No, just keep it safe and don't ring it.
Wrap it up in like some. Hey Saya, I grab one of your like wrist wrappings. I'm like, can I get some of that?
Okay, I'm fine.
Just a
Well-
little bit.
Pull out a roll of ace bandages.
You like get. So I take some of your wrist wrappings and I shove it into the bell part of it so that the dinger doesn't. There's a name for that thing and I don't remember. What it
I
is.
know. I
I don't
probably should have
remember
looked it
either.
up, but
There's
I know
there's a
that
fucking name, a
There's
word for that.
definitely a name for it.
Yeah. So
people in the
I
chat. What is
look it
that?
up. The dingleberry and a bell.
Dingleberry.
Okay, Google. Yes.
So I shove that in there. I wrap it up really tightly so there's no chance of it like jingling, and I put it in my bag of holding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as that happens, Rana looks visibly more comfortable now that it's like just away. And I suppose following up on that subject in particular, about the Carillions and this reference in this puzzle, riddle, whatever we want to call it, the knife that cuts through veils. I believe I know what that is and where it is. It is a sacred implement of sorts that was used in my training to become a Corellin. So I know where it is. It is located in Ashtar, the city of bells, the place where I learned to be what I am.
Should we go there first?
Well, I've sent missives out to the keepers there, asking them if it would be at all possible for us to obtain it. But this is a highly sacred artifact, and I'm not sure if they'll be willing at all to help us, or certainly not to turn it over without some kind of cost.
Well, I mean, you're the most knowledgeable here in the group. Like, do you have any idea what that possibly could cost us?
I can't say. I've sent the messages out, and whenever I hear back, I will let you know. But the keepers are incredibly secretive. Think of them more as temple acolytes, very protective of their own secrets. And if we do need this knife, again, we're messing with some big magic here.
This is so uncomfortable. Arnadel's like, this doesn't get any better, does it?
Yeah, and Kristoff chimes in. Yes, I know this doesn't sound great going into the wilds, obtaining this knife. We certainly have a quest set out ahead of us.
Kristoff, is there any chance? Well, fuck. I look over, I'm like, I feel like Rem would have a lot of answers for us. At least
so
some.
what's the game plan here?
Yeah, what do you want us to do?
Well, that's the last part of this. The blood of the Raven's kin. Clearly, that has certain implications for Rem, and she's working on it.
Okay, so are we gonna go out tomorrow to the forest and try and find this knife with a vial of her blood? Like,
so
hang out?
I think our next steps, we are waiting to hear from the keepers about what they say about this knife. Truly, that is the strongest lead we have of the three. So unfortunately, we're just going to have to hold fast here until we hear about that. I've asked one of our agents to return Arnadel to give you something that should help you in the meantime, protect you from Dendar's watch and influence. So we must also wait for that.
Okay.
So for now, it seems we just must wait. Did you all have any questions for me?
I think, I would like to ask, what is the protocol for a raise and or promotion? I'm asking for a friend.
Kristoff laughs. That is actually a good matter. I nearly forgot. Here, and he hands you all 3 neat bags that have gold pieces in them, and this time it's 500 gold pieces.
Oh boy!
Damn!
So you each get 500 gold pieces.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Big
man,
baby.
I'm gonna have 800 right now. What am I gonna spend it on? Dear chat, tell me, what should I spend my gold on?
Booze! Oh, wait.
Yes. That too.
I mean, you drink for free here, so.
That's true. Which is it's really their loss. It's a poor decision on their part.
Well, it's part of, your benefits package. It's written in there specifically. So hopefully that will suffice.
Oh yes, this is more than I know what to do with.
Kara kind of very subtly pockets it, and she's like, "All right, we'll have some conversation later."
This is fine for now.
Rana, if you have time after this briefing, while we wait for our orders, I would like to have a lengthy chat with you about the details of being a Corellan. I feel like there's a lot of information that I need to fill in some loopholes and like some little holes in what I'm understanding. She's basically wanting as much information about Fae culture, all this stuff that she wasn't able to put together just from like our briefing for Phelan and interacting with she wants to hear the Corellan side of it and be acquainted with
absolutely. That. So at that, Rana is like, of course. And Kristoff actually stands up and says, well, on that note, I will leave you to it. I have a lot of business to attend to with the refugees, if you'll excuse me.
Faya shoots up. Can I help you?
Sure.
Insight check.
Okay. On who?
On Saya.
Or
Oh.
Arnadel's never fucking noticed Saya get excited about fucking information. Oop.
that's
I'm literally being I'm being Arnadel. She's trying to like
This
be
isn't
Being
about
an
education.
Arnadel.
I'm just trying to help the refugees.
as
refugees.
That I'm going to go help Kristoff, not you.
Oh, I thought you were trying to come tag along with like what's his name, Rana. I was like,
No.
ooh, inside check.
Oh.
Okay, never mind.
No,
Sorry.
Kristoff said he was gonna go help the refugees, so I
Yeah.
shot up and said, "Ooh, let me help you."
Okay, sorry, got it. Sorry, I thought you meant with Rana, and I was like, when did you ever pay it like want to get all bookish about shit?
Never.
Like, fuck that shit.
All right. So, Saya, you want to go and off with Kristoff. Arnadel, you want to talk with Rana. And Kara, what would you like to do?
now that it's the daytime, I want to go visit my boo.
You both
Oh
thing.
my
Okay.
god! I want to buy her all the bottles of pink hair dye with my gold.
Oh, that's so sweet. But baby, it's natural.
Oh man, it's better.
I was gonna ask. I was like, is it natural?
Mm-hmm.
Do the drapes? I'll find that out later.
You don't know that yet.
I hope they're like fuchsia.
That would be amazing. Oh my god. True ending.
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, cool. Who should go first? Let's roll a d4.
You want us to roll a d4?
So yeah, somebody roll me a d4.
Brittany, this is
2.
probably too much information, but now I'm kind of inspired to dye my carpet.
Let's all just do that. Let's all
Well,
go
That's a
fuchsia.
thing.
No, oh man, when I used to have my hair red, they got a match. I like coordinating.
Oh boy, that
Is
would
there, like,
burn.
specific dye for that? Yeah, I was gonna say like your skin's a lot more sensitive down there, so I would wonder if they have like a gentle.
A soft bleach.
A soft bleach. A gentle coloring.
Girl, I'm
Gentle.
blonde.
She's blonde, or they're blonde. You don't need the. Well, I don't know what we're talking about.
This is
so,
such a good conversation.
The tagline is like Venture Maidens, more than you ever needed to know.
Yay! Oh my gosh.
oh god, let's
sorry.
just all share everything we can about our fucking pubes.
Yay!
Or that podcast.
Yeah,
We're
you guys
here now.
signed up for it. You want it. You asked.
You did
You
ask.
did.
and
You
you keep
didn't
coming
actually.
back.
Talk about
You
their
didn't
pubes.
ask.
You didn't ask for this.
You
I'm
didn't
sorry.
ask, but we're giving it to you anyway.
I hope
Oh
you
my
consent.
gosh. I look like I don't have any hair when I put the crown on like this.
True, yeah, when you got the bun.
It's okay. It's so hot in my apartment. I'm just like dying.
Oh man,
Maybe I
can't
could
believe-
just like.
I wish I had a
There you
hair
go.
tie within a 5-foot vicinity of me, but I don't. I'm upset.
Just wear my giant crown.
So for that D4, I rolled a 2.
Okay,
to get
then
us
you're
back on
going
track.
first.
Me?
Oh,
That's my
boy.
favorite number. 2.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, Rana. Tell me more.
All right. Do you have anything specifically you want to know, or just want me to give the basics?
Let's start with the basics. The way that I usually like to study is to cover the basics and then narrow in.
All right. Well, as you know, the plains, ruled by the Eladrin. All the mythology of this place say it is a land that is just next to the Feywilds. The veil here in between the material plane and the Feywilds is much thinner here. So, back when there was a lot less civilization, Fey would just storm in from the wilds, wreaking havoc upon towns, villages, people, and it was decided that some kind of force was necessary to combat them, to specifically be able to damage or send back these invading Fey. And that's when the Krellins were born. They have a sensitivity to music in particular, and these bells were invented and designed in order to combat them. So that's sort of the loose basics. Of course, that was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago that this all began. And it was discovered that the Eladrin themselves were too susceptible to injury from the bells. So it became a place for other races to be Corellans. And ever since then, a very uneasy peace has existed between the Eladrin that we protect. But of course, we aren't Eladrin in the end, but we are the best defense against an incursion from the wilds.
Okay.
The process to become a Corellan is extremely difficult. It takes many decades, training, years, tests, and all of this is housed in the city of Ashtar, the city of bells, the closest city also to the wilds themselves.
Celeste, would Arnadel have? Can I make a knowledge check? So just to be like, oh yeah, I've read about this, and then like maybe come up with some specific questions to like reel it in.
Sure. Or like, what does Brittany want to know?
Basically, what I'm going at is some kind of advantage on like Fae checks. Arnadel's gonna share her experience with the first time that she got the scale necklace.
Okay.
Long ago. Mm-hmm. And how she was out on a just like a little weekend trip to get components, like magical components for her alchemy studies. And she was like really, really familiar with the surrounding area where she would go get specific components. And one day she came across this like weird set of ruins that just like popped up. And so when Rana was talking about how the veil is like very thin and like the plane kind of overlaps and things come and go, that jogged Arnadel's memory about when she got this little scale. It actually was a little rock when she first got it. And so she shares that with him and explains like, well, that's kind of how I got this thing. I think this was the first, when I picked up this rock, this was the first time that I started having these like dreams and things that were like kind of, I couldn't tell what was like subconscious and what was reality. Like I'd be sitting reading and I swear I would hear something, but like there's nothing there. It's like imagine if your thoughts actually got too loud that you think you can physically hear them. And she's like, so she's kind of vibing with that and explaining like, is that kind of,
so that probably isn't related to the Fae directly. I mean, that seems like something that happened to you once your patronage with Dendar was struck.
I guess I meant specifically like interplanar interaction is what I'm talking about. Like Dendar
comes from a place similar to the Feywilds. It's a plane that borders on our own. So it is typically very difficult for creatures to reach in from their own planes and directly affect us in the material one. That's what happened, I suppose, with Saye. That's why that creature was so powerful. It was literally tearing its way from the Feywilds into our own plane, which strong Fae, Archfae are capable of doing, which reifies the necessity of having Corellans.
Well, I'm pretty much over creatures from different planes tearing their way into this one, so
they're nasty.
Yeah. Pretty nasty. So yeah. I guess give me a crash course in like what you know, so maybe I can be better wielding that bell, or maybe
I've been training for this my entire life. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do to teach you or to enable you other than suggest that you never ring that bell ever again.
Okay. I'm gonna go to Valerius's library.
Okay. All right, then let's jump over and let's go to Kara.
Oh boy.
All right, Kara, what you doing?
So excited. So she is going to saunter over to the workshop in the artificer's workshop area.
Mm-hmm.
On the way, she's going to stop and pick a very pretty flower
Oh.
for Gidget. Preferably pink, if
Yes.
possible, to give to her.
There's a bunch of like nice little flower beds just sort of around one side of the center area of the keep. So on one side is the combat rings, but on the other side they have like benches and nice little florals, tiny gardens. So you can absolutely grab. What kind of flower do you want to grab?
Okay, so she grabs like a couple of dahlias. There we go.
Oh,
They're pink.
cute.
Like
Mhm.
pink dahlias and some baby's breasts and just like and then she'll like pluck out a couple strands of hair and wrap the bouquet together with like a couple of her strands of hair.
Go ahead and make a survival check to see how pretty this bouquet looks.
Alright. There we go.
You a good girlfriend.
Oh, I try. That'll be a 17.
Okay. So it looks great. Who knew? Kara's also great at floral arrangements.
I'm just a savant.
I'm just living my truth. All right, so you have this real cute bouquet, and then you go over to the artificer's workshop, and just even outside the door, you can already hear the sounds of tinkering, pieces moving, something going on inside there. And
she like fixes. She tosses her hair back and kind of fixes it. Licks the eyebrows, sort of thing. Like checks to make sure she doesn't have any like crumbs on her shirt, whatever. Fixes herself and was like, okay, all right.
Okay. And you step inside, and like you had seen it from last night, it's just absolutely destroyed in here.
Listen, so
but
fucking
what you
sorry
see,
that
so
you're
you
gonna
just
hear
see
me
a big
being
wrench that's kind of waving up in the air, like tightening a bolt. Is the first thing you see on what looks like a suit of armor, like just half of a suit on top of a table, except it's got all these weird bolts sticking, and so the wrench is moving around. You can't see on the other side of the table.
She calls out, "Hey, are you in here, Gidget?"
And the wrench you hear as the wrench just like falls to the floor, and Gidget like runs out from behind the table, and she's got like just oil smeared across her face, and her hair is just like stuck up at all these weird angles. She's like, "Kara, oh my gosh, you're back!" And she runs towards you.
I'm so much more in love. Kara's like about to like fall over herself. She's swooning so hard.
She runs towards you and goes in for a big hug and smears oil all over the front of your shirt.
Oh, perfect. It's stylish. She like pulls her in tight and goes, I brought a little something for you. And she presents the bouquet to her.
Oh my god, this is really... Did you make that? Is this your hair? Oh, I love it. It's so ingenuous. Ingenuity? Wait, I lost that word.
You're the one who's better with the words than I am. And she's like fucking stumbling like,
Yeah, how's it been? Where have you been? Like, I know Rem got back, so you're okay, but like, what's been happening? What have you been doing?
Oh man, we fought this giant snake thing. I think Arnadel called it an anathema, and Arnadel is like trying to find a new patron. Oh my god, like there are so many things happening.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, I just gotta put out and all of a sudden sparks start coming out of the suit of armor. She's like, I just gotta put that out. And then we should go, and I'll okay, yeah, just give me 1 minute. And she goes over, and you see that there's a bucket of sand besides the work table, and she just starts throwing sand onto the electric spark fire that's happening right now. Until that goes out, and she just grabs an oil rag, which is not much cleaner than her face anyway, and kind of wipes it off and like fixes her hair. And you can tell that she looks really tired. Like she's probably been working a lot lately. All right. Well,
sorry.
Okay. Like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to go into town?
yeah, let's. Are you? You know, you look like you haven't had a break like since I left. You want to go grab some lunch and like, oh, we should grab some lunch and like have a picnic or something. I don't. You
Oh,
know.
I would love that. Yeah, let's go down. The water's probably great today.
Oh, good idea.
Uh, awesome. Have you been out there yet? I don't know. So much is
No.
changing, and I feel like I haven't slept in 3 years.
Ugh. I can imagine. Yeah, I haven't been out here. Just all of a sudden, there was an ocean where there was sand, and where all of a sudden we were on the ground. Oh my god, it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll like it. Let's go and check it out. Yeah, let's get out of here.
Right,
I
yeah,
feel
so
like
we
I've
go-
been buried under this robot for 2 days. I have. I'll show you. Never mind. When we get down there, and then she
Yeah.
just starts talking about like this new mechanical thing. She's right. You don't understand it. She's just
I
flying
have no
through it.
fucking clue what she's talking about, but
Yeah.
I listen very intently, and she's
Yeah.
really interested. It's like, no
Yeah.
clue.
And then so she starts leading you out to the main door, so down those steps that lead
Mhm.
out of the keep itself. So you're moving downwards, and she's just talking the whole time. And you, as you exit like the main set of doors in the cliffside, and they open up, she's saying something about ratcheting on like an extra set of bolts because the structural integrity of the thing wasn't working out quite right. As
Naturally.
yeah, as the door opens, and you are met with the hot sun in a very different scene than when you had first walked up to the keep. You see that almost immediately to the left of the keep. That's basically the edge of the ocean. It came up really, really close to the edge of the keep here. So now there's like a sandy beach immediately to your left, and you see that a bunch of huts have been like hastily constructed and kind of like, so it's growing out now to a pretty sizable town, it looks like.
Interesting.
And then also before, you remember there had been the two like pieces of land that had been kind of arcanely
Right.
lifted.
Yeah.
Those are no longer there.
Oh, okay.
But what you do see is that in the center of all of these huts, you see a very large building, which was the temple that was pulled up on one of those pieces, has now been like placed in the middle of the city. You see that a bunch of the iconography on this building is different now, so statues have been removed, making it a very plain kind of facade. So it's a town. It's a beachside town that's there now, and you see many of the refugees from before are walking about, going about their business. Yeah, it's way different than it was before.
Yeah, Kara, when she begins like walking on like the actual sandy beach, like pulls off her boots and drills her toes through the sand and finds a nice little sunny spot where she unfurls a blanket and lays down a little basket full of food and pats a spot on the blanket and says, "All right, come here and sit down. You need to take a break. I mean, both of us do. It's been a hell of a couple weeks."
Yeah, it certainly has. This is so nice. What a great idea.
I'm glad it worked out. I just, I think you're really neat, and maybe you're. I'm willing to hear your side about the whole magic thing, and oh my god, I axed like the shit out of this ogre zombie with the lightning that you put on my axe.
Oh, it worked?
It was so cool.
Oh, I'm so glad it worked. I mean, I tested it, but actually like testing it in a workshop and then seeing it out in the field are very different things. But I'm glad you liked it.
Oh yeah, it was excellent, and so I my mind has been a little bit more open.
Well, that's always good to hear. I mean, I'm not really one for. Well, I'm not a magic caster or anything. It just sometimes it helps me along a little bit with my creations. But I try to keep to the science. That's mostly what I'm about.
For sure. I remember you saying that you wanted to learn so much about dwarven construction and everything, and I was trained as a mason.
You were?
Yeah.
So before coming out here, that's what you did?
Oh yeah, so the clan that I'm from, Ember Thunder, we are very well known for our masonry, and we were next to a mine full of limestone, so
Oh.
that's what we made our buildings out of. And she kind of like recounts about her past and yeah,
Oh man, Gidget loves it every
oh
minute
yeah,
of
we
it.
are like, and like it even gets into like, oh man, I was supposed to be married to this douchebag, but he like was a real asshole, and she fucking shanked him. And,
Oh my god. Yeah, so Gidget is just like,
my whole family has killed my necromancers, and so it's been a long. She just like unloads
oh yeah,
an
yeah.
uncomfortable amount of information.
Did you bring
Definitely
Gidget's
brought
look?
wine.
Oh yeah, that's what Gidget like was literally opening the basket, like, oh okay. And
We
you,
always make sure both of their glasses are full.
oh look at you, you are such a good girlfriend.
I'm a gentleman.
Oh god, treat a lady right. So and you the two of you are having a fantastic conversation. It's one of those conversations, where it's like easy and everybody's,
That's why she just like spews all these things.
Yeah.
Like, you're so easy to talk to.
Yeah. And you're just having an incredible little beachside picnic. So cute. And then let's go ahead and jump over to Saye. So Kristoff is like walking beside you, kind of like quiet, firmly, before he's like, so how are things?
Well, right now, they're fantastic. My friends are finally friends again. I feel like I could run a marathon, and I'm finally gonna catch up with these refugees. How is that going, by the way? Are they okay? Are you guys okay dealing with all of them?
Things have been going, well, a lot better. Things have changed a lot since Rem has been unavailable. I've made some calls which I think will help the refugees. We're trying to do everything we can for them, but more and more keep showing up every day. So we've been working overtime, double time, all the time to try and ensure that these people have somewhere to live and that the Tsarina isn't going to be coming for them.
So that means more people actually survived than
Yes.
we thought.
They've been showing up in caravans, wagons, camps, one or two stragglers at a time. Anybody who didn't immediately drown. And of course, the area itself is relatively inhospitable. The word of this place is spreading, so more and more folks are coming. We've gotten a lot of support from some of the refugees, leaders within the community who are stepping up to give this an honest shot. Yeah.
So
and
what does
as
that
you're
mean for?
Yeah, as you're walking, you're also heading out that way.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. As we continue walking, I just get a little more of like the current status of the keep and the Sisters of Sorrow. She asks, so since more people know about the keep and its location, have you guys been scouting new locations or anything? Or I mean, I know I obviously had a huge hand in all the problems that we're dealing with now. So anything that I can do to help you find a new place, or like right now helping the refugees, I'm here. I want to help you. I know we have other things that the Sisters of Sorrow want us to be focusing on, but I can't. You can just leave it all up to you guys.
I very much appreciate that. We are absolutely here for you as you are here for us, and I think our number one priority and yours should be making sure Arnadel is safe. The three of you are extremely important to us. We're not sure how, and I don't pretend to be a priest or even a particularly smart man, but I can obviously see that the three of you are very important, and that should be your priority. Things with the keep are a little troublesome, especially now that Rem is back. but she has not asked me to relinquish my new title. And so I have made the call that we are not going to be moving locations. I think we have too many people depending on us, and I think it's time the Sisters of Sorrow were made a presence in this world.
I think that's incredibly admirable. She's like really surprised that he would do that because he was the one at first like really upset that they were out in the open and they had just given up their secrecy to the world, and she's like trying to hide the fact that she's like super proud of him because she doesn't want to be condescending.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry,
But she's
Celeste.
like,
I'm
oh, wow,
straight
well,
up eating chips
that's
right now.
great.
It's so loud. So loud.
I know
Oh my
that's
God.
that probably
I'm
wasn't
sorry.
an easy conclusion to come to, but I think everyone would respect that decision.
Well, we're dealing with it, and there are going to be some consequences down the line. Obviously, the Sarina is going to take issue with a third-party organization operating in the plains, not strictly under her rule.
Fuck the
But
Sarina.
we're going to have to cross that bridge when we come to it. There are hundreds of people here now, and we can't just walk away from them. And as this conversation, hits that point, you again walk out the set of doors, and then you see everything that I described to Sage, like this village that has popped up now. Yeah, it's probably about 300 people, so it's pretty sizable, and you can see now that there are like docks that are being built sort of around. There are a couple like boats that are out on the water now, so some like little fishing places have been set up, and then over on the right side where like the real desert begins to start, you see that there are people out in the field. They seem to be clearing like space, so there aren't any fields out there yet, but you see all of these people like tamping the land, doing all these strange things, and you all start to head into town. And again, you're seeing all kinds of people just around you, since these folks all came from Bastard's Breach, so it's a complete mixed bag of races and different types of people.
It's looking a lot more like a big city now, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, 300, it's a small town, essentially, but everything is very hastily built. Like, so people are moving around, like, trying to just build roofs at this point, right? Trying to carve out, like, so the streets are sort of haphazardly arranged, and but the people seem genuinely happy, they're all busy, but nobody's like skulking around looking depressed or sad. It's become a very industrious little place. And he keeps leading you through the streets until you come to like a big kind of open space, maybe like a town square area, and you see that in the center of it there's a building that's been constructed that it's got like a thatched roof, but it's an open structure, so there's like a counter that goes all the way around it, and a bunch of people are clamoring up there, and you see that Dee actually is running around behind there, and she's handing over like food and drink items to people that she's pulling from behind the counter, and yeah, so it's like a food stand or cart or something, and Kristoff kind of pushes his way in. Like I said, the agents for the Sisters of Sorrow have put in so much time and effort to help these people. Dee has established this sort of, well, using magical means to get food and drinks to these people until we can start irrigating, getting some farmland set up, which Gidget and Whizban have been helping to do. So, of course, the desalination tanks, just trying to get these people water, basic means. It's going slow, but it's going. And at this point, he catches Dee's eye, and she runs over and like holds up a finger, and then is like, "Okay, all right, I'm sorry, just 1 minute," and goes and grabs like a scroll and hands it over to Kristoff, and he nods. So, what do you think?
I mean, this is so much more progress than I thought you guys. I mean, I'm just not gonna say that part. Sorry. This is just so much more progress, like that you guys could do. But I'm just amazed at how much you guys have dedicated your time to helping these people get back on their feet. And I really just want to help. If desalination is a big problem, I could possibly conjure a whole lot of fresh water for you guys.
That would be extremely helpful.
Yeah.
We do have tanks that are currently empty for whenever we do have fresh water. If you have that ability, that would make a world of difference.
Yeah, take me to your tanks. I'll fill them up.
Fill them up.
I'm gonna fill your tank.
So he does. He's like looks really impressed and is like, all right, and then moves you down further through the streets until you get to. It's like pre-plant kind of like there all are these large tanks, and you see these machine-like things and things you don't really understand, like connecting to the water and draining things off, and you see actually Whizban is running amongst the tanks, and he has a bunch of other like gnomes that are gathered around him, and they're all like talking to each other really fast and going over like diagrams like out on a table. You can see Whizban looks the same except he's like really sunburnt, just from running around outside. And Kristoff is these are the empty tanks here, and they're huge, like couple 100-gallon tanks. I suppose, can I leave you to it? Do you need some? I don't. How magic?
Well, out of character, I seem to have left my little notebook that has all of my water spells in it at home in Los Angeles. So, off my memory, I believe I have a spell to basically create like a flood of water.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to contain it to this thing.
Yeah.
So I don't remember what that spell is called.
Create water?
Probably just create water. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, actually, absolutely. You can just go for it, and I'll just say you spend time doing that.
Okay. Do I need to roll for anything?
No.
Okay.
You're just channeling your inner awesome.
Yeah, all right.
Your avatar spirit, getting it done.
She goes internally, she closes her eyes, and she's trying to contact the water deity within her.
Sure. Okay, and then let's go ahead and jump back to Arnadel. So you're heading off to see Valerius? Okay. So as you're moving like down the hallway from the conference chamber, you're walking down that hallway where all your rooms are contained in, and you're basically gonna hang a left at the Middle Sister Tavern. And as you're walking, you hear a voice from behind you, a very familiar voice, says, Arnadel?
Who is it? I turn around.
Aaron.
I fucking knew it! Oh my god! Sorry, I don't mean to be like throwing off the fucking. I'm sorry, everybody, for the sound.
Oh my god!
I'm squealing too.
Oh! I'm maxing out the sound bar. I'm so sorry.
He is trying to look very casual, leaning against a wall, like in the hallway behind you. And then are you just staring at him?
Yeah, I turn around and I'm literally like.
And he kind of like stands up from the wall and like dusts off his shirt and looks really uncomfortable, and I think we probably need to talk.
Fuck yeah, you do. Oh my god, so many words. Oh!
She's like, yeah. I mean, yeah. Valerius can wait. Where do you want to talk?
Wherever. Here, I mean, what's... I don't know, I think you can call the shots here, since you probably hate me a lot right now.
Her demeanor kind of like melts a little bit. Like, she's not being hard, she's just shocked. And she wants to be really clearly communicating that she's not like angry. She says, she's like, I don't hate you. I don't know
Run
what
to him.
happened.
Run to him.
No. She's like she's very guarded now. She's like, I don't actually know what happened. For all I know, you could have been assigned to leave. So I really want to give you a fair chance to explain yourself. And there's things I have to update you on as well. She kind of smiles and is like, you know, maybe you want to go to your room? I think going to the bar isn't going to be helpful. Do you have a room here?
You slept in it.
I don't know if it's still empty. I guess.
Yeah, I think so. I don't want alcohol right now. I don't think that's a good idea.
No.
Yeah. There's a lot of refugees here, and I don't really feel like it's appropriate to go to your cave. So that's what I think.
Okay. And he, just waits for you to walk down the hall and turn in.
I walk purposefully.
Okay. He follows.
I'm a new woman.
Yeah, he follows a little sheepishly. He's clearly like doesn't, he just doesn't want to assume anything or, and he steps in behind you and closes the door. I wasn't going to come back, but Kristoff told me you were in trouble, and so I got something for you.
Wait, why did you leave? Why did you leave? Where's your sister?
She's safe. I had to get her somewhere safe, but after what she said, Arnadel, I didn't want to leave, but she told me that I would die if I was around you.
So these weren't orders from Rem or Kristoff? This was your decision?
Yes. My sister asked me to leave you, and she's always come first.
I gotta be honest, of course that hurts to hear, but I would be completely ridiculous and not understanding and embracing, like, of course your sister comes first. We've only known each other for a short period of time. It would be ridiculous for me to not...
He charges at you and grabs you in his arms and then kisses you immediately and deeply and just...
I'm sorry. The Seam and Sage, you guys need to simmer the fuck down. I'm trying to roleplay here.
You do this to us too, okay?
For sure. So when he does that, at first she's like very rigid about it. And of course she fucking melts into it and like kisses him back for shit's sake. And she's like kind of trying not to be emotional, but she kind of gets choked up and she's like, that really fucking sucked. I'm not giving you your dagger back.
That's okay. You can keep it. And he touches his face and like puts his hand and like kind of like he takes a breath and like controls himself. I don't know if this is a good idea. I probably shouldn't have come back. I could have just left this for you. I shouldn't, but I couldn't not see you again. I care for you a lot, and I didn't think there was room for anything else in my life other than Mila, but
I guess we have a lot of stuff to work out, I don't want to take your sister's prophecy too seriously. I really want to hope that there's some type of misinterpretation there. like there's always a third option. It's never just black and white. Aaron.
And he kind of has like a sad, knowing smile. She's never wrong. But
she might be right, but it might not be what we think
Maybe.
it means.
But I mean, the way I see it, I'm part of this organization, right? I fight things all the time, and potentially every single day I could die. And if it's just one more thing, fuck it. Who
She
cares?
grins, and suddenly, like, her confidence, like, she's real confident because she's like, I've been through shit. But it kind of like flickers a little bit, but in hopefully like in an endearing way, like the way that he's been kind of like falling for her. She's just kind of like, ew. And she's like, yes, I've fought some shit too. I'm fighting some shit. I'm happy to tell you about it, but I might need to tell you that over a drink.
That's fine, but that's what started all of this. You need this. And he hands you a black box and hands it to you.
What's in the box?
This will protect you from extraplanar creatures that might be watching. It'll give you time. It'll shield you until we get this all figured out.
Aaron, this is beautiful.
Oh
She
my
pulls
God.
it out and she's looking at it.
Mhm.
This is for the viewers.
So it is a gold and silver brooch that he has that is covered in these kind of green, purple, shining gems. And there is an inscription in the box. Would you care to read it?
Forsake the whispers in the dark. Call your mind your own, lest your tortured soul embark to shadow realms unknown.
And he closes his hand over yours while you're holding the brooch. Wear it. Be safe. I wish there was more I could do. If I had been there, maybe there was something I could have done, but
No, there's nothing you could have done, Aaron. This is a very complicated situation, and it's not going to get any easier.
no.
Do you want to... Are you here for a little while?
I'm here for as long as you need me here.
She blushes deeply. So she kind of finds her confidence again, and she grabs his hand and looks at him like dead in the eyes and smiles, and kind of like, that cute like coy thing where you like brush your hair back, and she's like, can we please go get a drink and I'll tell you all of the details. It's no secret here in the keep, so you're gonna hear it one way or the other, but at least you can hear it straight from the horse's mouth. No pun intended.
I would love that.
I'll buy you the drink. How about that?
Sure.
Okay.
And I think that's where we're going to be ending today.
Oh, what? Damn it.
Yay!
My
Sage is
heart.
dying.
I can't believe you brought Aaron back, god damn it. I was not prepared for that.
You're fine.
I
This
was
is
not
fine.
That shit.
Oh my god.
That was an episode, you guys. So much talking to NPCs.
Mm.
NPCs are good.
Oh
They're
my
all
goodness.
wise.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much to listening to another episode of the Venture Maidens podcast. I have been your dungeon master, Celeste Konowich.
I am your fucking shook elven warlock, Arna Delathil, played by Brittany Quintero. Baba Shook.
And I'm Nassim, playing your human monk, Saya Noor, playing as the Red Cross for today.
I am your whiskey sipping, love tripping, dwarven barbarian Kara, also known as Sage.
Yes, well, thank you everybody so much for joining us for this episode. And you know what you should do until next time?
Venture
away!
away!
Venture away, everybody! Yeah. Romance episode. That was so lovely.
Pineapple.